So what's your name?
Mike Trim.
Okay. What year did you serve in?
I was in from 1998 to 2000, late 2000, almost 2001.
Okay. What was it like when you were in the Army?
It was peacetime. We weren't at war anywhere. I started in the military as a National Guard soldier in Missouri, in Springfield, Missouri, and then went to basic training, and then went active duty from there for the rest of the time to Fort Hood, Texas. So I never went overseas or anything like that. So it was like I said, it was peacetime, so it wasn't deploying and things like that, going places. It was a lot of just training mostly, and maintaining things. So it was a whole different experience than people's experience probably in the last 15, 20 years.
Okay. What was the most scariest thing that you experienced when you were in the Army?
Like I said, I never had to go to war per se, but I was a police officer. I was an MP, military police, so same kind of police calls and stuff. You're just dealing with a lot higher trained clientele. So that was, you get called to some pretty violent situations, and you're getting trained where you have to go deal with people that are pretty, capable. So that was probably about the most scary for me, anyway.
What kind of uniforms did you have to wear?
We were in the BDU, the green camouflage woodland pattern BDU most of the time, battle dress uniform. We had to shine our boots at that time. We had to make sure everything was ironed to the point where it was so starchy it was stiff. You put it on and you had these crisp, and it looked silly and absolutely stupid, but that was peacetime, where people found nothing better to do. So
did it itch?
It didn't itch, but it just wasn't comfortable at all. Whereas now there's no iron requirement, there's no shining requirement, for the daily wear uniforms. So it was a lot different.
Okay. Why did you want to be in the Army?
At that time, it was a good career opportunity to get started in law enforcement, one place or another, to kind of get a good background, and it was a much better job than what I had at the time. So for my wife and I, and my oldest daughter was born while I was in the Army, so it was a good opportunity for health insurance, things like that.
What did you have to do when you were in the Army?
Like I said, we were mostly, as military police, we worked the road as normal police officers, rotated through the year with 4 other companies. But most of the time it was training and getting ready, so we had a lot of that type of stuff, maintaining equipment, and there was a lot of just downtime, so, you had to improvise training and stuff, so kept you on your toes.
Okay. How old were you when you went into the Army?
Almost 22.
22? What countries did you fight in?
I never deployed anywhere other than staying in the United States. I never had to deploy anywhere. So.
Where were you based out of?
Fort Hood, Texas. It's just south central Texas. About 2 hours from San Antonio, 2 hours from Dallas. So it's right there, right in the middle.
And last question, what did you experience in your time?
One thing you ask, if we were all sitting in this different room, you're going to get, if you have 10 different people, you're going to get 10 different experiences, because good, bad, or ugly. Experience-wise, it was, like I said, I was 22 years old, married, we had our first child while we were there, so a lot of maturing, a lot of growing up still at 22, learning about the world. I'd never really been much anywhere outside of southeast Missouri and been around a lot of different kinds of people, so learning to deal with lots of different kinds of people, lots of different backgrounds and things like that, so that was a big learning curve for me personally. So it was a lot different than what, if you ask somebody who's been in the military in the last 5 years, it would be night and day difference in those answers. So it's really interesting to think about that, and because life changes in the military culture from one year to the next, depending on what's happening in the world. So that's my answer.
Okay.